Well, good morning. Happy Wednesday. You're looking live over a very foggy start to the day down in Dublin right now. The time is 6:30 on this December 7th. I'm Caitlin Heck.
And I'm Wanye Reese. We're just moving on through this month of December, and the weather, it's on its own little roller coaster each and every day.
It most certainly is, Taylor.
I mean, I can't believe that we're seeing 60s in the morning where our average temperatures for high temperatures are supposed to be in the 60s. So very, very warm, but we are taking a sharp climb down as we head into next week. That's all in the 7 day in a few minutes. Right now, here's a live look again from Dublin. Foggy across the area. One of the places we're seeing the most fog right now, 59 degrees as you head into the DUB area. Wide, we're seeing mid 50s, mid 60s, and a 70 or 2. 57 now in Gordon, 64 now in Macon, 65 in Roberta, and 70 now in Thomaston. But notice where the fog is. It's concentrated mainly the densest fog as you head east of I-75. So if you encounter any fog this morning as you're driving and getting out the door to work or taking those kids to school, make sure you use the low beams and take your time. We talked about this earlier. Not only are you dealing with other drivers, you're also dealing with animals, especially deer this time of year. Live radar and satellite shows you that a few clouds are rolling in and out of central Georgia, mostly cloudy for a lot of us. A sprinkle or two just left Eatonton. Now, a sprinkle is possible throughout the day today. I'll break down the full 7-day forecast that comes up in a few minutes.
Thank you, Taylor. We'll check in with you soon. This morning, the closely watched U.S. Senate runoff in Georgia between Democratic incumbent Raphael Warnock and Republican Herschel Walker is over. Warnock retains his seat in the U.S. Senate. It gives Democrats a majority of 51 seats and the Republicans 49. Warnock will now serve his first full term as senator after grabbing the win. Last night, Warnock gave a speech to his supporters after his projected win.
After a hard-fought campaign, or should I say campaigns, it is my honor to utter the 4 most powerful words ever spoken in a democracy. The people have spoken.
The runoff election brought record-breaking early voting in Georgia. After the projected runoff results, Walker conceded and thanked his supporters. Here's what he had to say.
You're my family, because I'm a winner. We all winners, so we're all winners, and that's what I want to say. We're all winners, and I want to say God is a good God. God bless you guys, and let me tell you, stay together. Continue to believe in our elected official. Always, always cast your votes, no matter whatever is happening. Cast your vote for all that. And God we trust. I do. In God we trust. Continue to cast your vote. Never, never, never give up. All right? God bless you guys. Thank you, guys.
Well, so let's take another look now at our election tracker to see how the votes break down across the state. Now, Warnock had a bit more of a convincing lead than what we saw back in the general election. So just over 37,000 votes separated the two candidates back in November. This time around, Walker trailed by more than 97,000 votes. Now, as we typically see, the Democratic candidate Warnock took many of the more populated areas around our state. We're talking areas like Atlanta, Columbus, Savannah, and Augusta, where Walker's main support came from some more rural counties, especially that North Georgia area. See a lot of red down here in the southern part of the state as well. Now, only 2 counties in the entire state changed course from November. Both of them actually right here in central Georgia. We're talking about Washington and Baldwin County. So you see Washington County, Warnock won this time around, where Walker had a slim majority in November. Same thing in Baldwin County. Now, if we take a look at the areas where Warnock won across the state, in each county, his percentages this time around were just a little bit higher. So you look at areas around Atlanta here in Newton County, 58 to 57%. Areas over in Gwinnett, 62 versus 58% last time. And where you're starting to see some of those differences in those bigger counties, especially like Fulton, where you have a 3% swing, that's going to add up to make a big difference. Wanye?
Thank you, Caitlin. Definitely some very interesting context there. Last night, Gabriel Sterling of the Georgia Secretary of State's office division tweeted out thanking all of the election directors and election workers in all 159 counties. He says, "You all did a great job for your voters and helped set records. Please be proud of your work," and that the state crossed the 1.6 million mark. He says that's more election day voters than what we had on November the 8th or the November 2020 Election Day. Now looking toward our local races, Desmond Brown wins in District 2 for the Macon Water Authority. Brown returns to the board with a win over challenger Lindsay Holliday with more than 6,000 votes, which works out to about 57%. Holliday trailed with 43%. For Milledgeville City Council District 5, Shania Mapp defeated Oscar Davis Jr. She comes away with the win with 381 votes. That's roughly 58%. In case you missed any of our coverage, you can find results at your fingertips on 13WMAZ.com. We're breaking it all down for you, county by county. Find the story on our homepage at 13WMAZ.com. 6:36 now, moving on to what's happening closer to home. An update to a murder that we first told you about in 2019. A Macon mom received a 20-year sentence for killing her 3-month-old baby. On Monday, Rebecca Kipp pled guilty to second-degree murder. She was charged back in 2019 when the child was found lying face down on a couch where Kipp left him hours before. At the time, Kipp gave different stories to investigators about the baby's death. She later admitted she left the child unattended for more than 3 hours. She's sentenced to 20 years with the first 12 served in confinement.
Well, police say a Warner Robins restaurant employee acted in self-defense. We first broke the story to you yesterday, and now we're getting some more information in.
Our morning reporter TJ Anthony joins us live in studio to explain and tell you more about how it's tied to a crime trend that grows this time of the year. Good morning, TJ.
Good morning. That's right. Get this. Warner Robins got the 911 call about the robbery happening at American Philly Wings on Watson Boulevard at about 9:45 p.m. yesterday night. Now, police say 23-year-old Joshua Hickey tried to actually rob the place.
Hit the ground. As he was coming back up, he drew his own legally owned firearm and fired 3 shots at Mr. Hickey. Mr. Hickey was struck twice and fled on foot.
Sergeant Justin Clark with Warner Robins police say Hickey jumped the counter and attempted to make his way to a door in the restaurant, all while demanding money. Now, Hickey allegedly pistol whipped an employee, and that's when the worker pulled out his own gun and opened fire. Officers found Hickey nearby and took him to the hospital where he died. Now, the National Crime Victimization Survey says 2 specific types of crime increased in December, and that's robbery and personal larceny. Now, those crimes increased by 20% during last month of the year, and officers right now are encouraging you to pay extra attention, especially during this holiday season.
Theft in general does tend to increase around the holidays. As far as our robbery numbers, though, from last year versus this year, we're right on par to have about the same, which is around 70 currently.
Now, whether you work at a business or you're just shopping, Clark says pay attention this holiday season. Caitlin and Wanya, take it away.
Well, thank you so much, TJ, for that information. Some great tips. Clark also says be aware of your surroundings.
He says just be aware of people coming in and out of places. Of course, if you're out and about shopping and doing a lot of errands, make sure to lock your car.
Yes.
That's something they always stress every year. Well, this morning, people are reacting to a story we first broke for you yesterday involving the murder of 3 teens at Macon's West Club Apartments. This makes 65 homicides in Bibb County this year. The sheriff's office says deputies were called around 1:30 in the morning to Stephen Drive in West Macon. 16-year-old Marcellus Williams died there. Jerian Williams and Tyshawn Williams died at the hospital. They were both 18. A 14-year-old was treated overnight and released. Former Union Elementary School teacher Kristen Baugh says she was upset when she found out that Marcellus Williams, one of her former students, died.
It kind of just guts me because whether you're 16, 14, 18, 19, you're still in that teenager zone. And these are children, and the violence has got to stop. There's no reason that children should be dying.
The apartment sits in the Westside High School zone. The sheriff's office has not released any other information on the shooting. Time now 6:39. Let's head to Taylor. She has your forecast.
Well, good morning, Caitlin and Wanya. Right now, it's a very foggy start to the day. Visibility in Macon slowly going down. As you saw earlier, we could see the Christmas tree on top of the building. Now you cannot see it from our camera. Right now in Macon, though, even with the fog, it is a warm, of course, a muggy start with all the moisture in the air. Mid-60s to start off the day now in Macon. Area wide, we're seeing a surge of warm air that's thanks to a high pressure system to our south. So places west of Macon already in the upper 60s, low 70s like Thomas and Forsyth. As you head east of Macon, where we have a lot of cloud cover and fog, temperatures only in those upper 50s. Area-wide, we have a mixed bag of numbers from all the things we're seeing across central Georgia. And of course, where we see those cooler temperatures is where we're also seeing the densest fog. Right now, Most of the fog is concentrated to the places east of I-75, anywhere from Sparta and Milledgeville down all the way into Eastman, Vidalia, and Scotland. Again, if you're driving in dense fog, make sure to use your low beams and take your time, because not only are you paying attention to people on the road, you're also paying attention to some of those animals that get scared when you're on the road, like deer. Now, a dense fog advisory is in effect for a majority of central Georgia, except those places are going to be west of I-75 until 9 a.m. today for visibility underneath a quarter mile. Now, this is the high pressure system I'm talking about, as pumping in that warm, moist air to our western areas. A cold front to our north is barely moving. That's bringing a lot of rain to places in the mid-south. Now, we're wedged between the two, so we could see a sprinkle today on top of very warm temperatures this afternoon. Live radar is pretty quiet. We had a small shower over in Eatonton, but otherwise clear today. That's how it's going to be. Maybe a sprinkle or two sometime throughout the day, but about a 10% chance of rain, if that, through your Wednesday. By the time you're going into your noon hour in the early afternoon, temperature is already into the low to mid 70s across the area for a gorgeous day. Cloud cover will kind of break apart throughout your Wednesday. Now, a burst of energy could be possible. That may bring a little sprinkle or two to our extreme northern counties late tonight, but otherwise it should be a mainly dry day. What we're going to be really looking at over the next couple of days is if we break some record high temperatures. Today, the high is going to be in the upper 70s, near 77 degrees. Tomorrow, right at 78. Both days, today and tomorrow, our record high was 79 degrees. So we're going to see if that heat just gets enough underneath it to break some of those temperatures. Now tonight, another warm night, temperatures in those low 60s. We're going to keep that really warm trend with a little sprinkle chance in the 7-day forecast for the next few days. We're going to cool down to the mid 60s as we head into Sunday. That's thanks to a couple of cold fronts going through the area. They'll also bring us a little bit of a better rain chance into the second half of the weekend. We're back after the break.